Welcome back, everybody. This is Metal Rocker 86, here at it again, reviewing another album. Have you ever wondered what's on the other side of the moon? Well, we won't be finding that out today, but I will be reviewing Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd is an English rock band which formed in London in 1964. They are also one of the very first psychedelic groups in all of Britain. Their genres include progressive rock, art rock, experimental rock, psychedelic rock, and space rock. They have gone through many different band members and released 15 studio albums to date, Dark Side of the Moon being one of their best. On to the album. Dark Side of the Moon is the 8th studio album released by Pink Floyd. It was released on March 1st of 1973 and became one of the best-selling albums of all time, and was even top 25 in sales in the US. It first appeared on Billboard 200's list in 1973 and stayed there for just over 15 years. It consists of 10 tracks and altogether is just over 43 minutes long. On vocals, guitars, and synthy AKS is David Gilmour. On drums, percussion, and tape effects is Nick Mason. On organ, piano, electric piano, EMS VCS3, synthy AKS, and vocals is the late Richard Wright. And on bass guitar, vocals, ECS3, and tape effects is Roger Waters. Now on to the songs, all of which the lyrics were written by Roger Waters except for the instrumentals. The first song is called Speak to Me, and it's an instrumental written by Nick Mason. Instrumentation. It consists of a very cool drum beat and some sound effects that would drive people crazy, like clocks ticking and a cash register. There was also some laughter from their late road manager, Peter Watts. This song was really just a 1-minute intro that leads into the next song, Breathe in the Air, which was written by Roger Waters, Richard Wright, and David Gilmour. The tempo in this one is very slow. Instrumentation. The sound effects from the last song continue in this one with a shriek from Claire Torrey that leads into some awesome guitar riffs and some background drums. The lyrics describe an old man talking to a baby, preparing that baby for what's going to come in life, and telling that baby just to do what they feel like doing. This was a great song on the album, and it leads into the next one, On the Run, which is an instrumental written by Roger Waters and David Gilmour. The tempo here speeds up a bit. Instrumentation. It mostly consists of an awesome synthesizer and some background percussions. According to the band, this song was supposed to symbolize fear of travel, in which Richard Wright feared he would never make it back. This song has also been used by the Chicago Bulls when they introduced the starters for the opposing team. Whenever the band would perform this song live, they would have a model plane fly from one end of the venue to the other, and then it would have an epic crash. This was another great song on the album, and it leads into my favorite song on the album, Time, which was written by the members of Pink Floyd. After the very unique intro, things get very up-tempo. Instrumentation. It starts off with an epic intro with some guitars and some clocks ticking in the background. These were actually recorded at an antique store. Here and there are also some background percussions, and they really make it sound like time is passing. After about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, the drums come in with some awesome guitar riffs making you really want to rock out. Things slow down and get a little softer in the chorus, but after that they return to normal. After the second chorus, however, it goes into a reprise of Breathe. The lyrics describe how time can just fly by and you don't notice it until it's too late. When Roger Waters was only 28, he realized he wasn't preparing for anything anymore, and that was part of the inspiration for this song. This was an awesome song on the album, and it leads into The Great Gig in the Sky, which was written by Richard Wright and Claire Torrey. It's mostly just an instrumental with some shrieking by Claire Torrey. The tempo slows down here a little. Instrumentation. The main focus is on the keyboards and the pianos, and they set the mood of life, which slowly fades to death. It starts off a little harder, which shows someone trying to resist death, but then it gets a little softer when they accept that there's no way to escape it. This was an okay song on the album. This next song is called Money, and it was written by Roger Waters. The tempo speeds up a little bit in this one. Instrumentation. It starts off with some cash register sounds, and then it goes into some awesome guitar riffs, and then the drums come in. It also has a cool saxophone solo and guitar solo. The song obviously describes money, but not in a good way. It describes all the bad things that can happen to you when you have a lot of money. This was another awesome song on the album, and it leads into Us and Them, which was written by Roger Waters and Richard Wright. The tempo here gets a little slower and things get a lot quieter too. Instrumentation. It starts off with an organ sound, followed by some guitar with some background keyboard and percussions. For a little bit, there is also a saxophone solo. For the intro and verse, things seem a little soft, but they get a lot harder in the chorus. Believe it or not, this song was originally going to be a piano piece for the movie Zabriskie Point, but it didn't make the soundtrack and was then used as the starting point for this song. From what I can see, the lyrics describe war, how there are two sides, and how we're all the same no matter which side we're on. This was a good song on the album, and it leads into Any Color You Like, which is an instrumental written by David Gilmour, Nick Mason, and Richard Wright. Instrumentation. The main focus is on the cool guitars and synthesizer with some background percussions. It's kind of like an instrumental version of the song Breathe from earlier in the album. This was another good track on the album, and it leads into Brain Damage, which was written by Roger Waters. Instrumentation. It starts off with a cool guitar intro that is then used in the verse. There are also some quiet background percussions. The theme of this song is being insane. One of their previous band members, the late Syd Barrett, had taken a lot of hallucinogens, which would affect how he performed on stage. There was even a point where he played the wrong song during a show and he was eventually dismissed from the band. This was another great song on the album, and it leads into the final song on the album, and it's called Eclipse, written by Roger Waters. Instrumentation. The main focus is on the guitars, which are harder in this one. There are also some organs, as well as some percussions in the background. It then ends with the same drum beat the album started with. From what I can see, the lyrics describe life in general, and this was a great song to end the album with. So what did I like about this album? I really enjoyed this album, and it's one of my favorites of all time. The songs were all very well written, the vocals were phenomenal, and they did a great job on the instrumentation. The song Ordering was also awesome, and it blew me away with how most of the songs were able to lead into the next song. The only knock I have on this album, and it's very, very minor, was I felt they may have overdone it a little bit with the sound effects at some parts. To conclude this, I will say you should definitely give this album a spin, and I know you will enjoy it. Well, that's the end of this review. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to subscribe and share. Until next time, rock on!